on this, a Nerds United podcast. This is actually number 4. Last time it was actually number 3.
Yeah, a little bit of a typo. So yeah, episode 4.
So today we are going to go over most anticipated movies for myself and BJ of 2016. Just compare a list. But first, we'd like to talk about something that happened today.
Yeah, something pretty tragic. Actually, it's been a pretty bad week for celebrity deaths, like David Bowie and whatnot, and which, if we had time, I'd totally talk about Labyrinth from here to the end of time. But Alan Rickman.
Yeah, Mr. Hans Gruber.
Yeah. Well, let's briefly just talk a bit about some of his movies that we loved. And I'll just start, and then you can chime in. But I really dug him in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Although it was a terrible movie as far as accents, Kevin Costner's accent going in and out. But Alan Rickman was definitely the standout. And one of my favorite lines, he says, I wish I could do Alan Rickman's voice, man. His voice is so unique. But he says, I'll cut his heart out with a spoon, and Guy Gisborne says, why a spoon, cousin? Why not an axe? Or a knife? And he says, because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more.
I always remember him spitting on Maid Marian, accidentally, and they kept the cake.
Yeah, he was drooling from the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, ew, that was definitely an outtake, but they kept it because it was so real.
Yeah. So what about you? What was your first pick?
Oh man, my first pick would have been is Die Hard. And that's where I first saw him do anything. And he was so good with an accent. Talk about the exact opposite of Kevin Costner's accent.
Right.
But
he did a Texan accent in that one for a little bit, didn't he? Like a southern drawl, like when he met Bruce Willis, in the
Yes. And so I thought for the longest time that guy, because this is pre-internet days, that guy was actually, was he supposed to be German or Russian or something?
Yeah, I think he was German.
I don't remember, but for the longest time I thought he was that until I found out later on that he was actually British. So
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, he was really good in that one too. I think if you think about the roles that the biggest roles that he's been in, that he is always playing something different.
Yeah,
he was always really good at it. He stood out in my other movie that stands out for me for him was Dogma.
Oh yeah, Kevin Smith's Dogma. Yeah.
Yeah. So he played. Was it Metatron?
Yeah, the angel. He spoke for God.
The voice of God. So he was really great in that too. And knowing that he's a British actor or whatever, he's done so much drama and stuff, and then he goes and does Dogma, which was just. And he doesn't have. I think he has an English, regular American accent in that too.
I think
so. I don't think there's any British accent in that one.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that, but I remember he stood out too. He stole the show whenever he was on.
Especially when he pulled down his pants and he had nothing there.
He was like a Ken doll, yeah.
Yeah.
So my second pick, and I'm sure I know you know what's coming, but Galaxy Quest he had some of the most memorable lines in that. I mean, even though it was kind of Tim Allen's movie, he again, stole the show a couple of times. And the one thing that really stood out for me, and that really my heart just jumped, and I got really excited, is when you do the whole movie, he kind of he hates his character. He just doesn't like that character.
Right.
He feels like it's beneath him because he's this Shakespearean or this Broadway actor or whatever, play actor, and he does this role for, whatever reason. His career's in the tank, but the one time, the alien guy that worshipped him, was shot and was dying, and he just for once said that line, and it meant something, but it was perfect. You know, he just looked at him and he's like, by Grabthar's hammer, by the sons of war, man, you shall be avenged. And then he has that, his eyes, like when the guy died, his eyes just all of a sudden, I don't know, man, his expression, he got up and he went and attacked the aliens that shot him, and it was awesome. It was just like the whole crowd just went nuts. And this is like back in 1999. You know, it was a while ago. But that role stood out. And when I learned this morning that he had passed away, when I got home today, Galaxy Quest just happens to be on Netflix. It came on, I think, a couple months ago or something. But so I kind of briefly perused it today, and that really bummed me out. But at the same time, it put a smile on my face.
So I guess the biggest one for us would be him as Severus Snape,
which a role
for
that
Harry
was
Potter.
Bred
for the two people that don't know what Harry Potter is.
Yeah, he was bred for that role. I mean, he was born to play that role. It was insane.
And what's crazy is like he has such a delivery of his lines as Snape. But I remember when I think I watched the first Harry Potter like when there was 3 books out or 2 books out. So I actually went back and started reading.
The 4th book came out 3 months before the first Harry Potter came out. The 4th book came out. Yeah.
So I actually went back and read the books, but every time I would read Severus Snape's part, I would read it slow in my head like he would deliver the lines.
So that's interesting you said that, because back in, I think that year when the 4th one came out, it's finally what piqued my interest. So I went and read the 3 books, and then I took my time and finished the 4th one before the movie came out. But the funny thing is, I knew nothing about the movie as far as like who was cast. I read the 1st book, 2nd book, 3rd book, and as I'm reading it and I'm reading Snape's character, I was like, God, I wonder who they got for Snape. You know what would be really perfect for that would be Alan Rickman. And then, like, the movie came out, and I saw him as Snape, and I flipped out. I was like, oh, my gosh. It was the same thing when X-Men came out. I was like, you know who would be good for Professor X? You know, Patrick Stewart would be really great for Professor X. And, like, boom, there he was. So, like, I totally called it, and I was so excited because he's just like, I mean, it's written for him. It's perfect. You know, there's nobody else on the planet that could have done Severus Snape.
Yeah.
And like you said, once I got to the 5th book, I started reading it like, you know, in his voice, you know, totally.
Did you ever see Tom Hiddleston pretending to be Snape, like he does impressions?
He does an amazing Alan Rickman impression, and Benedict Cumberbatch does an amazing. You got to go on YouTube and look up Benedict Cumberbatch, do an Alan Rickman. It's uncanny. Just close your eyes, and it's like it's him. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, he is going to be in one of my movies for the most anticipated movies of 2016.
Yes.
So I know you had your list first. So all right, give me your top 10. I think let's go like 10 to 1 because I want to build some kind of suspense here to see where you're at.
Oh, you wanted me to go 10 to 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so my number 10 is going to be Finding Dory.
Okay.
I loved, the first movie a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Okay.
I'm going to go number 9, The BFG.
Okay.
Again,
did you read that book?
I did. I loved it. Roald Dahl is one of my favorites, and Steven Spielberg's doing it. So
yeah, I knew that, but like I saw the trailer. We'll talk about it later. But go ahead.
Yeah.
The BFG.
Number 8, The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Okay.
70 years before Harry Potter, I think.
Okay.
What's that? That was number 8. So number 7. I would say Jungle Book.
Okay.
It's funny, I got a lot of animated films on here. That's not animated, but, live action. Number 6. Boy, this is tough. So, believe it or not, Batman v Superman is number 6.
Okay.
Number 5, Star Trek Beyond.
Okay.
Number 4, Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Number 3, Deadpool.
Okay.
Number 2, Captain America: Civil War, and number 1, you could probably guess. It comes out in December. It's just a tiny movie, not a big deal. Rogue One.
Okay. Wow, we are so fucking far off the list.
and I wrote down 6 honorable mentions, which I don't know if you want that now or later.
After you went number 10, I was like, wow, this is going to be an interesting list, because like as soon as you said 10, I was like, fuck, where are we going to end up on this? All right, so here's my number 10.
Okay.
I got 10 at Ghostbusters at 10.
Oh, wow.
At 9, I have Independence Day.
Okay.
8, I have The Jungle Book.
Okay.
7, I have Batman v Superman.
Wow, almost like me. Okay.
6, I have X-Men.
Oh, okay.
5, I have Doctor Strange.
Okay.
4 is Deadpool. 3 is Rogue One.
Okay.
2 is Captain America: Civil War, which is the only one we got at the same spot.
Okay.
And number 1 is Finding Dory for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you had it at 10. I was like, fuck, this was going to be different.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Real quick, I have like 6. See, I came up with like 19 in the beginning, and then I whittled it down to 16, and then I whittled it down to 10. And I have the 6. I didn't have the whole 9, but I have the 6 honorable mentions. I'll just blaze them out really fast. But 1 is Ghostbusters, Suicide Squad, Bourne Identity 5, Independence Day, X-Men, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Sword of Destiny.
Okay. That's not even going to be in the theaters, though.
No, but
no, it's straight Netflix.
Yeah, but I still want to watch it. It's still a movie. It still counts. No, but it's honorable mention, so that's why I didn't put it on the list.
I went through that, and everything that you just named, or most of it, because Ghostbusters was in my top 10. But I think I saw them and I just bypassed them. Like,
yeah,
I just there was something about them that kind of turned me off. Like the Fantastic Beasts.
I got to be honest with you, the Ghostbusters I'm just not interested in. I mean, I'll go watch it.
There's a lot of nostalgia. There's not a lot, but there's there's about 3 or 4 movies on my list that are coming out this summer that have a little nostalgia to them, and I think Ghostbusters for me at number 10. I think it broke the top 10 for me because I mean, it was like one of my favorite movies. And I remember specifically watching it at my best friend's house when he moved to Virginia, and I remember watching Ghostbusters and eating Cheez-Its like while we were down there. I think it was like 9 when I was 9 or 10 or something like that. But I'm just interested, and it's more interesting to me than Star Trek, which fell out of my top 10.
That's
to see really, how the female.
That's really interesting because the reason why Ghostbusters for me fell out of the top 10 is because they're not really including the original characters in it at all. Instead, they're making them do cameos, which really, really bothered me.
No, I understand
I don't
the
like
problem
that.
with that, but like they're all so fucking old.
Yeah,
like,
I know, but
so
look what they did with Star Wars, dude. They brought back the original, and so it's just kind of leave them out of it. Then if they're just going to be cameos,
what's his name? Who's the director? Paul
Fig or whatever. But you see what I'm saying? Like, leave if they're not going to play their original roles, then don't put them in the movie. Don't put them in the movie. Like one guy, I think Dan Aykroyd is going to be a taxi cab driver, and Ernie Hudson's going to be they're all going to be different people, and of course Egon is dead, and which sucks. But originally I love the idea of Bill Murray. He said he was going to be dead and he'd be like a ghost that just kind of like went along with them and cracking jokes. I thought, okay, that's fucking awesome. I like that. But then they completely changed the story, and I don't mind the female leads. I think that's great. I think right now females are just kicking ass in movie roles and all that stuff. But the reason why that fell out of the top 10 for me was the main what they're doing with the original cast members. But that's it. I mean, it's a piddly thing. It's not a big deal, you know.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna go watch it.
Well, think about like what you said about, you know, Star Wars coming back and who they got to direct it, and I'm thinking like, you know, that was an Ivan Reitman film.
Yeah.
And you know, in the '80s, he was huge, you know, as a
yeah.
comedy director. But think about who they got to direct Ghostbusters now.
Yeah, this
like,
guy's like
this
Judd
guy's
Apatow doing comedy. Yeah, he's so
right,
good.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
So that to me is like a parallel to what the cast was of the original Ghostbusters, just females. And because I think about the cast, there's some of the funniest.
Oh, they're
amazing
in
entertainment right now.
Women comedians.
And there's SNL ties there. It's the same thing with Ghostbusters. You know, Aykroyd and Murray.
Yeah.
And then and then they got a comedy director in Ivan Reitman, you know, who again was a major comedy director back in the day, and now Paul Feig is the one who's directing this movie, and they got like a really good director to direct a comedy movie.
I think he wrote it too, didn't he? Didn't he co-write it?
Maybe, I don't know, but I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. I know a lot of people have a problem that there's like 4 female.
You know what'll change my mind? I need to see a
leads.
trailer. I got to see a trailer to decide, you know, if this is going to be. I'm sure it's
almost
be
parallel.
Good,
I mean, it's almost parallel to the original cast and to the director. Like, it's almost parallel of how it's matching up, and nobody's really picking up on that.
Right.
But anyway.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Let's see. Yeah, I had Finding Dory at 1, and who was your 1?
Number 1 was Rogue One for me.
Right, that's right, Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah, Finding Dory was, first of all, Finding Nemo is just a ridiculously good movie.
Yes.
It's right up there with The Incredibles and, of course, Inside Out. But for me, Finding Dory was, for Finding Nemo was like a special movie for me because it was the last time that I went to the movies with my mom to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So then when this one came out, I was like, oh, I'm definitely taking McCullough to go see this one.
Oh, absolutely.
So that, I think because like Nemo, if you think about how good that movie is, you know, minus the fact that it's a cartoon, and that it definitely was like I couldn't wait to see it. I'll probably put like, you know, Incredibles 2 up really high as well because like first Incredibles is one of the best superhero movies ever made.
One of the best animated movies ever. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so like that's where Finding Dory's up there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then for some reason, like remember when the Independence Day, the second one, the trailer broke,
mm-hmm.
and it came out right after Batman v Superman. That trailer.
Oh, it did it. It was on Force Awakens reel, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But I remember watching this. I was like, oh my god, this trailer looks so much better. No, it was the X-Men trailer. Sorry, it was the X-Men trailer that came out.
Yeah.
And then like 2 days later, it was the Independence Day trailer, and I thought like the Independence Day trailer was a way better trailer than the
X-Men one was not very interesting to me at all. That's why it wasn't in my top 10.
Yeah, so that's why I have Independence Day shoot up here because basically against all these other movies, like I mean the first Independence Day was okay, but like I remember a great theater experience there because I saw it on 4th of July weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So that theater experience like stays with me seeing Independendence Day.
Yeah.
So and the trailer kind of nailed it for me too. And I'm sure it's going to be dumb. I hope they don't do the same stupid shit that they did in the first one. But
what did they say about Will Smith's character? They killed him off or something like that?
Yeah. He died in like combat or died in something. Died in the line of duty, basically.
All right. That's bizarre. Whatever.
Yeah, I think Will Smith said he didn't even know about it. He read it in the paper or something that's how they killed off his character.
They're like, he got a concussion.
Yeah.
That he didn't wake up.
Yeah. He fell down an elevator shaft.
Right. They probably didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay him the money.
Yeah, no, that's like $20 million right there.
They're just like, dude, you haven't made a hit in a while. we don't want to.
We still remember the Wild Wild West, motherfucker.
Oh my God, yeah, his career kind of went downhill. After Earth is absolutely terrible. Oh.
I didn't even watch it.
Don't.
You were basically the guinea pig on that one. You told me not to watch it afterwards. So
yeah, it's so bad. His
it was him.
So
wasn't it M. Night Shyamalan that directed that?
It was, and here's the thing: is like they did not, when they did that marketing campaign, they left his name out of it.
It was probably right after Avatar.
They completely named. No, this was like only a couple of years ago or something like that. After Earth, but they kept his name completely off of it. So I didn't know he directed it until it was either the beginning or the end of the movie. I can't remember which, but I was like, "Oh, he directed this? Like, all right." You know,
that's probably well. You probably were like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Well, I did, because if I would have seen if I knew, this is terrible to say, but if I knew he had directed it ahead of time, I would not have gone and see that movie. I only went and saw that movie because the trailer actually looked pretty good, and I like Will Smith, I do, and so I just kind of gave it a shot. But I was on the fence, and so I kind of teetered. I think, one of my friends wanted to go, so I went with them. But if I would have known he directed it, I would have been like, nah, I'm not going to go. I'll just wait till that comes out on DVD, because it's a total DVD movie. It's not something to go see in the theater. Sorry. But what else? We had number 2. We share number 2, right?
Yep, number 2 is the same.
Yeah, Captain America Civil War. I mean, how can you not? The only reason what kept it from number 1 for me is because I'm just a huge, Star Wars nut. But the trailer for that, Marvel is just a marketing genius, and I think you were, I think we've had several conversations about the last part of that trailer.
Oh my God, yes.
All they had to show was that. They didn't even need to show anything else.
They just have to start with. That's how the teaser trailer would have been like the Marvel sign, and fade to black, and then you hear Tony Stark saying, what was the line he says about being a friend? Well, he says to him, he's like, "I'm sorry, Tony."
Oh, that was Captain America says it, but he's my friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Captain America says it, and then they show the fight scene, or they show Iron Man saying, or Tony Stark saying, "I was once too," or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts to them, like him, Bucky, and Iron Man fighting. Oh my God! When he uses, like, they share the shield.
Yeah.
Like Iron Man. Oh my God! It's like a comic book. It's like a comic book frame right there.
Well, what's so cool about that? I mean, it just reminded me of the shot in the Avengers right at the end where they did this tracking shot of Iron Man flying through, and like he.
Oh yeah.
He shoots his laser, whatever, into Captain America's shield, and he like directs it and trashes a bunch of
Yeah, that got one of the biggest. That got one of the biggest cheers in the theater.
Holy cow! That tracking shot was amazing. It was just like unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that. That was awesome.
The only reason I had Rogue One at 3 was. It was basically like my 2A and B.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anything in Rogue One. I've only seen a picture of the cast.
That's the crazy part of it. I mean, when they pitched it, like when we saw even that teaser thing that they created back in Star Wars Celebration, that was enough for me to my pants got a little tight. It was awesome. It was really, really awesome. And what they were talking about, it's not even really an original idea, to be honest with you, because all of our lives we've had those conversations like, how did they get the Death Star plans? I would always wanted to know that. And they tried to answer that in a game that they did, the Jedi Knight games. I think it was called Dark Forces. It was the first-person shooter that you could jump and duck. It came out after Duke Nukem or something like that, like LucasArts made it. And came out before Quake, and I think it came out after Doom even. But that kind of answered the very first level. You break into the Death Star and steal the plans and get it to the Rebellion. So we had conversations for years over that, me and my friends, and I think you and I have had that. And so the idea wasn't that original, but because of the fever now of Star Wars and Disney owning it and Gareth Edwards doing the movie and then wanting to make it gritty and all this stuff, it's gotten me totally excited, to see it. And we haven't seen one thing except for a picture, like you said.
Yeah, that's why I have it at 3.
Yeah.
The only reason why I have it 3, I mean, if they showed anything close, if they show an actual teaser trailer, unlike the fake teaser that they showed at Celebration, if they showed anything remotely close to that, like it might catapult it to number 1. Because
well, we'll find out at Captain America: Civil War when I think obviously that would be the time to put a teaser out. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else? What did you have at number 3? I think did I have Deadpool at number 3? I had Deadpool at number 3.
I had Deadpool at 4, so that's kind of close.
Okay.
I had Doctor Strange was 5 for me.
Yeah, I have 4 for Doctor Strange.
Even though we said X-Men Apocalypse, or for me, X-Men the trailer wasn't good, the only reason I have it at number 6 is because, or I have it that high because Bryan Singer, I mean, every X-Men that he does, it just gets better and better.
Yeah.
So he definitely doesn't have like the bad third movie, but he actually passed that one off. So he had a lot of time to reflect of what not to do in a sequel.
Right.
And then he came back with a vengeance with Days of Future Past, which is just a great anything with like comic books and time travel. Sign me up.
Yeah, and anything that Bryan Singer does, sign me up.
For X-Men, yes, anything that he does for X-Men.
Well, yeah.
Superman, not so
Although
much.
I really want to see his Superman Returns is bad, but I want to see. He's been trying to get Logan's Run made for years. I think someone else finally is going to do it, but. Okay, where did you have Batman v Superman?
7.
I think I had that at 6.
Yeah.
And and here's you maybe you'll agree, but like I would have had that higher based on the first trailer. The second trailer that came out just made me not really have a whole lot of faith in it, but it's the first time seeing Batman and Superman on screen, so it's like, okay, it's got to be in the top 10. I still want to see that. Like, I'm really interested. But what kept it from being higher in the list is that second trailer, that little annoying Lex Luthor. I'm hoping he's not like that all the way through. I hope there's some method to Bryan Singer, method to Zack Snyder's madness of why he cast him for that role. But that and the trailer music and also revealing Wonder Woman like that kind of pissed me off. I was like, why?
Don't forget Doomsday.
Oh, yeah, and Doomsday looks just as
like
bad as
Ninja
what
Turtle.
What Snoke, looked like in Force Awakens. It just kind of like takes you right out of the movie. I don't like that. It reminded me of who was the guy that Hulk fought in the Edward Norton?
The Abomination.
Abomination. Okay, Abomination looked better than that. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
So you had it at number 7. So you're kind of like in the same arena I am, and you didn't have Star Trek in there at all, did you?
I had it right outside it. I had it at 11.
Okay.
Mainly because the trailer, it looked like. I mean, I'm sure I'll go and watch it because the cast is just really great. It's a Star Trek movie that's not really a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, Simon Pegg, I think, wrote it, right?
Yeah, he was a co-writer. Yeah, but none of these new Star Trek movies feel like a Star Trek movie. They have yet to make an actual Star Trek movie.
Yeah, you mentioned before that it's very Star Warsian, which actually I tend to agree. Like the more I think about it,
it's more action, and fast-paced, like quick-witted, like comedy type stuff, and that's basically Star Wars. Like,
yeah.
And there's parts of Star Trek where you just have to pay attention to what they're saying. Otherwise, you're going to lose the whole focus of the movie.
Right.
Star Trek is a lot more science fiction.
Well, this one's got Justin Lin now, who just like made the Fast and the Furious.
It's even more reason to think that it's going to be like Star Wars.
Yeah, and it's got motorcycles in it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of odd. I was like, all right.
At least it wasn't like a little neon or like a little Civic, like souped up.
Right. So you and I basically, we had Independence Day and Star Trek switched basically. Like I had Independence Day on the outside, and you have Star Trek on the outside. So that's kind of like where we differ a little bit there.
You had the Jungle Book in here too, right? Where'd you have the Jungle Book?
I did. I think at number 7.
Okay, I had it at 8. So
yeah, and I have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them and the BFG, and then
right, those are your two, right.
Yeah.
So BFG I know nothing about, and I wasn't very impressed with the trailer. So when I saw it releasing,
I wasn't either.
When I saw it releasing, I was like, yeah, I know it's Spielberg, but the movie just doesn't appeal. Like, there's nothing about that trailer that was like, oh my god, I got to see it.
It's
just
a terrible
looked like
teaser.
another. It just looked like another. I know it's not Harry Potter, or even close to Harry Potter. But
it reminded me of Peter Pan almost, the way the orphanage and someone grabs the kid out of there. Yeah, it didn't. I have to admit, you're right. The teaser did not look good, but I'm just basing it solely on how much I love that book. It was one of my favorite Roald Dahl books of all time, and then it just made a huge impression on me when I was a kid. And then the fact that Spielberg is very picky when he doesn't do a lot of movies, and so when he picked that one, I was like, oh my gosh, please, do a good job, because I really wanted him to do Harry Potter, but then he said, well, I don't want to do Harry Potter one because there's just no challenge to it. You're just going to follow the book, and basically that's what Chris Columbus did. He delivered a hit, and it followed the book just fine. So Spielberg is doing something, I guess, I don't know if he's going to be doing something different with it, but I think it's a difficult book to translate into a movie. So I'm really interested to see, what he does. And so that's why I'm more intrigued than anything else. That's why it's only at number 9.
I'm kind of surprised that they didn't change the name of the movie.
Right, because BFG could mean well, in the game Doom, BFG means big fucking gun.
Right. So as soon as I saw the title BFG, I just thought immediately big fucking gun. I didn't think sensitive music, and you see Steven Spielberg's name, so it's supposed to all magical and everything. You get this magical Disney thing. Then they show BFG, and I immediately think of the big fucking gun.
Right.
It completely took me out of the trailer. I was like, ooh, big fucking gun.
He's kind of I thought Spielberg was a gamer. I think he'd figure out, what that meant. Yeah. I mean, if they came out with this in the 80s, no one would blink, They'd be like, oh yeah, cool, a BFG. So maybe you should have said Roald Dahl's BFG or something. I don't, it's kind of it almost feels like it's so late in the game, because you remember when they made Tintin or whatever that movie was, Rin Tin or whatever.
Which is actually a pretty good movie.
It was really good, but people had no clue who that was.
I barely knew who the fuck it was. I just remember on HBO, I think, had it a couple times.
I had seen some comics years ago, and so when they made that, I was like, oh, I vaguely remember this, but I don't. It's the same thing when the Wachowski brothers did Speed Racer. I really wasn't that excited, because I was like, well, that wasn't. That's so.
But that movie looked dumb. Tintin looked pretty good.
It did.
The trailer looked pretty good. I remember when I saw Speed Racer on the trailer for Speed Racer.
Oh,
I'm like, well, that movie's gonna fucking bomb. You could just tell.
You know why, dude? It looked like Spy Kids. It looked like Robert Rodriguez did it, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
$120 million flop. I think Robert Rodriguez could do it for $10 million for the same shit.
Yeah.
All that CG. Anytime you have so much CG, it's just, I can't do it. It's boring. Sucker Punch, World of Tomorrow, whatever that was called, where it was 99% CGI. I can't pay attention to those things. I don't like that. You might as well just make Toy Story. You might as well just make an animated film and Pixar film, and I'll dig it. But live action, too much CG.
Wait, okay, so one movie that I didn't even think twice about brushing over that you actually have in your top 8 or 7, Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I think I have that number 8.
So, what? I didn't get anything the trailer didn't make me feel anything. I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I was like, banking on the trailer.
I think for that movie, just like BFG, and I think one of the other ones where it was just barely.
Did you?
It just where it was like barely a good trailer. I mean, barely a trailer at all or a teaser. I'm banking it on the fact that J.K. Rowling wrote it, and I've read part of that book. I have it somewhere. It's like kind of a thin book.
Yeah, it's really, that's not big at all.
I like Eddie Redmayne. Is that his name? The guy he did Theory of Everything. He played Stephen Hawking.
Okay, yeah.
A fantastic actor. My God, he's awesome. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. The one shitty misstep he did was Jupiter Ascending, and what a piece of shit that was. But I was like, what do you do? Like, you know, his money-making movie, you know, basically, and then he goes back and does. Yeah, now he's like going back doing independent films, but he looks the part. He looks really good, and who doesn't? I mean, I love Harry Potter so much that I think for the benefit of the doubt, I was like, all right, I'm going to put that in the top 10 because that I'm actually interested in. But it could, you know, we'll see. I mean, there's got to be a trailer coming out probably during Batman v Superman, I'm going to guess, because that's Warner Brothers. So
yeah, I'm not sure.
We'll see.
But you had Suicide Squad too.
No. I had Suicide Squad as an honorable mention.
Oh, I don't even have that.
I'm not even the least. I am interested, but I'm not like, you know, it was never on my radar to begin with. But I saw like that Comic-Con trailer and it got me a little intrigued. But so the reason for that, I really want to see Harley Quinn on screen because it's never been done before. Not interested.
Fuck it up.
Not in the least bit interested in Will Smith as whatever Deadshot or whatever his name is.
Right.
But you know, we'll
Killer
see.
Croc looks stupid too.
Yeah, he looks stupid. I had Bourne Identity 5 on the outskirts too. I
almost had that in the top 10, but I was like, I don't think I'm as excited enough because there's been so much time that's passed.
I know, and the fourth one was not good.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't really any good. And by that time, there'd been other type of movies that like took what the Bourne Identity first did, and almost redefined like action spy thrillers.
Yeah.
And then, but movies like The Kingsman and the really awesome James Bond movies. You know, I think there's 2 or 3 good ones out of the 4.
Yeah.
They took like what the Bourne Identity did and kind of perfected it. So like when I saw that he was coming back, I was like, I've kind of already seen that movie because so many people have done it.
Yeah.
Like even Mission Impossible has taken cues from the Bourne Identity.
Talk about a series that has gotten better since the third one when JJ took it over. Those movies gradually get better.
Yeah, exactly. Like
cool.
I would be more excited for what would it be? Am I 6 now?
Yeah.
I'd be more excited for Mission Impossible. I'm more excited for Mission Impossible 6 than I am for a Bourne Identity 5.
Yeah, which that comes out next year, right? I think it's coming out probably Christmas next year, 2017. I think is the.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
the last one was really. I really liked the last one.
I did too. I think I like Ghost Protocol like a tad better, but I still dug it. I still really dug it. I love that he does his own stunts. The guy's like in his 50s and he's still, you know, pretty in really good shape, you know, doing all his stunts and whatnot. And I like that. He's kind of a purist that way. Let's see, what else did we have on there? See, we had some differences. Like you had, you know, X-Men, which I had that on the outskirts because after I saw the second trailer, I just wasn't.
Besides Suicide Squad and X-Men on the outskirts, who else did you have out there?
On the outskirts?
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, Bourne 5, and Crouching Tiger, which you said was a Netflix show.
Crouching Tiger, right?
But still,
I saw the trailer for that, and I didn't. I mean, I saw the first one in the theater.
Yeah, I did too. And I fell in love
with
it. I loved it so much.
It was a gorgeous film, kind of slow moving at certain points, but it was the movie is just gorgeous. And then when I saw the trailer for this one, I don't know, it just didn't seem right. It seemed like they were just trying to rip off what Ang Lee did. Yeah,
it's a different director, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it when it comes on. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch the first one again. I haven't seen it all the way through since the first time.
Yeah, I think I saw it like 2 or 3 times, but yeah, it came out like in the year 2000, so it's been a long time.
Yeah,
it's been a really long time.
It used to be on Netflix. I've seen it, but maybe they've taken it off now because of the new movie announcement.
Possibly, yeah, they want to promote the other one more. And then the one, I guess, the movie we haven't really talked about. Well, actually, there's a couple of them on here, but we both had Jungle Book in our top 10.
Oh, because that trailer was fucking awesome.
It's sick, and I'm a big fan of Jon Favreau. I mean, has he made a bad movie? I think Cowboys and Aliens, but
yeah, that was pretty bad.
But
and Iron Man 2 is not that great.
Even it's not great, but I feel like they made him shove that out so fast. Like I think if it would have had an extra year, it would have been better.
That was like 0.5 Avengers is what that movie was.
Yeah, it was almost like 1.5. Iron Man as well. It wasn't really like it didn't deserve its own movie. I didn't like the bad guy or anything like that. It was kind of a waste.
Whiplash, I think.
Yeah, I mean the one scene they had him in I thought was cool, but then they took him away and brought him back at the very end with like 1 million robots to fight. And I was like, really?
Yeah, and then he was in his own Whiplash Iron Man suit.
Yeah, it's stupid. I didn't like that at all. But Jon Favreau, I even love Zathura, which was the same genre as Jumanji.
Yeah.
He's just a really good storyteller, and Elf is a classic movie, which we love, and we love Swingers and Maid and all those movies that he wrote and directed a long time ago. And
actually, I've never seen those two.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Shut the podcast down right now and go watch. Dude, Swingers and Maid are oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
All right, well, when we do a 90s movie podcast, you better watch those so we can talk about them. But
I did watch Chef. Did you watch Chef?
I love Chef.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
And that's how, I mean, it's such a basic premise movie, but it's awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Chef is great. It was such a really nice movie.
I know we're getting a little off topic, but if you love Chef, watch Bradley Cooper's Burnt that came out. It's like kind of in the same vein, but a little different. But he plays the same kind of character, down and out chef who's got to work his way back up, and it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
And you like food like I do, so when you watch that movie, you're gonna be hungry.
Yeah, I loved like you could see how like he took his time because he's into that stuff too.
Yeah.
And he's into the food. That's why I guess he chose Chef as the character.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the way that he shows food in the movie is like it's fucking awesome. It's the one scene where he's making the grilled cheese for his kid.
Yes.
He's taking like so much time and like love to just build like a perfect grilled cheese, and the kid eats it up like it's American cheese, like
like it's nothing, not a big deal. And he's like just staring at him.
he's eating a chicken McNugget.
Right.
Meanwhile, you go to the store, you go to his restaurant, you have to pay like $50 for that grilled cheese, and you just got it for free.
Right. No, I really dug that movie. I thought it had, I have a kid, so I understand like his relationship with his kid like that, and traveling around together. That would be pretty amazing if all of us could do that with our kids, And yeah, that was a really good flick. I really dug that.
So yeah, Jungle Book, like that trailer was so good that I couldn't ignore it when it came up in the month. Like when I was going through months trying to find out the releases and stuff. When it was on the month, I couldn't ignore it. I was like, that trailer was just too good.
Do you remember when they released the cast for that like a year or two ago? And when they said Bill Murray, I was like, okay, give me a ticket right now. I'm done. It's over. You don't have to tell me who else is in it, because I automatically knew he was going to be Baloo. I was like, that's perfect casting. So, but like Scarlett Johansson, and then of course Disney's Golden Girl right now, Lupita. Who just played Maz Kanata in Force Awakens.
Right.
So she'll voice a character in there. And, speaking of Alan Rickman, before, a long time ago, I just remembered this, but his last movie, I think, comes out next year, and it's a voice. It's a voice for a sequel, an animated film. And I can't think of it now on the top of my head, darn it. I have to look at IMDb again, but yeah, he's voicing a character in a sequel.
Of a cartoon?
What is it?
Of a cartoon?
Yeah, I have to think of it. Okay, what is the other one that we we got to talk Deadpool.
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say one thing about it, and then you can chime in, but the marketing people behind this movie, fucking geniuses. Absolute geniuses. You know, I was already pretty much sold in the movie a long time ago, like when I saw the Comic-Con reel that got leaked, and they said, hey, we're gonna make the Deadpool movie based on the reaction, and I was really excited then. But let me tell you, besides Force Awakens, this movie, they have done just a brilliant job of every step of the way putting some content out that just made me laugh out loud. There wasn't one time where I was like, that's fucking stupid. It's perfect marketing and perfectly done to the character, like perfect all the way across the board. Like every time there's a holiday or every time there's something going on, like Deadpool has a little Vine video or a Twitter thing or something, some sort of viral marketing campaign they're doing. And the last one that they've done, it's made me laugh, but there's these billboards of Valentine's Day. You know, looks like a love story, you know, and but the trailer is what really did it. And I don't know if you've seen the Red Band trailers, which are way better than they're just, oh my God, amazing. So marketing campaign has just totally sold me on that.
Yeah, well, Deadpool as a character allows you to do that kind of stuff, like definitely break the fourth wall.
Yes.
You know, he's the perfect marketing person for his own movie. Like, basically, like, he just, I don't know, Ryan Reynolds was meant to play one superhero / comic book character villain, but it'd be Deadpool.
Yeah. And you know, and he actually in the trailer, doesn't he throw jabs at Green Lantern? You know, he said something like, you know, okay, make me a superhero, but I don't want a green glowing outfit or something like that.
Yeah,
I was
no
like,
green
that's
and black.
awesome.
He said no green and black, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and I don't want it to glow or some BS like that. It was pretty funny. Alan Rickman was the voice of the Blue Caterpillar in Alice in Wonderland.
Oh.
So he does reprise his role as the voice of the Blue Caterpillar. I don't know if you ever saw that, Alice in Wonderland. Did you ever see that with Johnny Depp?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't like that fucking movie. I did not like that movie, and it made over $1 billion.
I don't know. This was like during like Johnny Depp's fetish with like fucking white makeup. Every role he had like some kind of weird white makeup face.
Well, what bothered me also is that character's such a third-rate character. Well, no, it's third-rate, but second-rate character, and like they put him front and center. And I was like, well, the movie's not about Mad Hatter. That's just a small part of it. You know,
did you see the posters and stuff like that?
Yeah, he was all.
It was all Johnny Depp. He was all over it. And then it's called Alice in Wonderland, and Alice is like the small part of the trailer, and it's front and center Johnny Depp drinking tea in his scary white face. Yeah,
it's Johnny Depp in Wonderland with Alice, like in the small print in the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those characters are reprising the role, and I think it's Alice in the Looking Glass. But I think that comes out this year too. But I didn't put that in my top. That's not even in my top 20. I could really care less about that movie. But anyway, Alan Rickman, you know, his very, very last movie will be that movie. The voice.
Well, it kind of blows.
Movie. Yeah, it kind of does. It's not as bad as what's his name, Ralph Julia, or whatever that guy's name is. Raul Julia, who his last role was M. Bison in the Street Fighter movie, which is like, talk about like that's your legacy. That
was after the two Addams Family movies.
Yeah. That was his very last film.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's the same thing like John Candy. His last film is called Almost Heroes, and that movie's terrible. So it's Matthew Perry, the guy from Friends. Yeah, it's a terrible movie. It's so bad. Made me feel bad because I love John Candy. He was one of my favorites.
I think Almost Heroes is probably like Oscar worthy compared to Street Fighter. I mean, that movie is such a piece of shit.
It's so bad. No, was it Van Damme in that?
Yeah, he's an American Marine Corps that can't speak fucking English.
Like, oh man, I would love to do bad. We should do one on all really bad films over the years. That would be one of them for sure.
Oh my god!
That and Dungeons and Dragons would be number one though for me.
I've seen Dungeons and Dragons more than I've seen Street Fighter. That's how fucking awful Street Fighter is.
The Super Mario Brothers movie.
I've seen that more than I've seen Street Fighter. That's
Are you
fucking horrible. Yeah.
I'm naming all Turtles in Time.
Seen that more too.
That's funny. I think that's pretty much, we went through the list except for we didn't talk about Doctor Strange. I have that at number 4 for me.
I had it at number 5.
Okay. What do you think of that? Like, so far we've just seen artwork.
Well, no, they released a couple pictures through EW.
Okay.
Like a month ago or a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I think I've seen those. I've seen them.
But it had artwork, but it actually had the first picture of him dressed as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I think he looks great, but he's got to lose his British accent for the role.
Yeah.
And this is Marvel's like big first time into magic. So
do you think they're going to introduce another Infinity Stone in that, or do you think that they're going to leave Doctor Strange, like Doctor Strange will be a standalone movie? It won't be like really part of the MCU. Like, what have they said about that movie?
I think Doctor Strange was an Avenger at some point in time. I mean, basically everybody in Marvel's been an Avenger at some point in time. But
right.
It wouldn't surprise me if they did it, if they have one of the stones. So there's a couple stones still out there.
There's 2 stones missing. Yeah, there's 2 stones. And I can't, for whatever the top of my head, remember which ones they are.
Yeah, me neither, because they've kind of like rearranged the colors. The colors never stay the same.
Right, and Thor even alluded. Yeah, Thor alluded to it back in Age of Ultron. It was kind of a throwaway line, wasn't it? Where he's just like, all the stones are. Because he has the epiphany, he has the vision, yeah,
in the pool of water.
Yeah, about all the stones. Because I found that kind of strange because the movie was totally about, supposed to be about Ultron, but yet that little piece there where they're like, oh yeah, we have to like remind people that, this is going to happen. Thanos is coming, so we got to throw this in. So they threw that in, and he has that line. He's like, yeah, it's very odd, but some of the stones, they're all coming together, so we got to.
Well,
I don't know. I got to look into this shit.
That's like 2 movies though.
Yeah.
Because they can't brush that over in Thor Ragnarok.
No, but see, you have Doctor Strange, but then Black Panther is the last movie before the Infinity Wars come out. So there's still 2 stones. I don't know if one's going to be introduced in Doctor Strange, and then the second one maybe will either be introduced in the Panther movie or will be introduced in the first Infinity War movie.
Guardians of the Galaxy coming out.
Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out 27th. I think it comes out. Oh, maybe that does come out. Oh, it comes out before I think Black Panther's the last movie before Infinity War. So maybe Guardians of the Galaxy is in between Black Panther and Doctor Strange. I don't want to guess. And also Spider-Man comes out that year as well.
Yeah, but Spider-Man's not going to do anything in the Infinity Wars. Actually, I don't think he doesn't really have anything to do with it in the comic books either. But
yeah, who knows? I do. Like, I read some ridiculous article earlier. They mentioned that 67 MCU characters are in.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Infinity
too.
Wars. So I was like, all right, like, okay.
I didn't even bother fucking counting in my head.
I couldn't. I think I could probably rattle off 15 to 20 out of my head, but
I was too lazy. I was like, fuck it. All right, fine, 67.
You're like, I'll just wait to the movie. It'll be on a couple
oh, Matt, up tonight.
Right.
Fuck it.
Fuck it. Wait to the movie.
Yeah, I believe you. I'm not going to count.
Yeah. I'll pause it when I get the Blu-ray. I'll count it then.
Yeah.
Well, that's my list, man. We kind of jumped around, but we got our top 10.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There was a point in time where I wanted to take Batman v Superman out of my top 10.
I was so close too, dude. But if I did that, I think our 3 listeners would have been like, "What? Come on, man! You guys are nerds. You need to have that in there." But I put it in there for the sheer fact that it's Batman and Superman.
Yeah, that's really only the reason why I had it on there.
That's only the reason, not because of Zack Snyder, not because of Wonder Woman or any of those other people in it. Just the fact that this is the first time we get to see those 2 on screen.
Because if they actually made like a Lex Luthor movie with Jesse Eisenberg, nobody would fucking go watch that movie.
No, it was called The Social Network. I already saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he's basically playing the same guy.
Same character, just with long hair.
Yeah.
I like that kid. I like that guy. And other things, but
I loved him in what's that zombie movie?
Zombieland.
Yeah, oh my God, fucking love that.
Why don't they make a sequel to that? I'll go see that. I love
Woody
that.
Woody Harrelson is he's so good in that movie.
Yeah, but they have the best cameo in the universe in that movie.
Oh yeah, Bill Murray.
Well, yeah, was the absolute.
And the way he fucking dies.
It was the best. It was the best cameo like ever. It was so good.
It was so fucking random too.
Well, it says BM on the gate when they went through it. I was like, "Who is that?" I had no idea who it was.
I didn't know he was in that movie.
It was great.
No fucking clue.
He shoots him
because he's pretending to be a zombie, trying to play a trick on him during the zombie apocalypse. Like that's not.
I love when they start rattling off people. He's like, "Yeah, I saw." What do you say? He saw Slash. He's like, "Zombie." He starts like naming off like people that are walking around as zombies. He's like, "Yeah, I was just playing golf the other day and I saw such and such." He's like, "Zombie." It was so funny. Oh my God. But yeah, that was a classic.
I'm okay with Jesse Eisenberg being that guy.
Yeah, me too. I think as a criminal mastermind, no, it just reminds me too much of like everybody says Zuckerberg, and it kind of does. I'm just like I don't understand it, but people that have watched the movie, like executives and things, have said they're like hold judgment based on.
Well, what are they gonna fucking say?
I don't know. Right.
Shit.
And I'm like, well, wait a minute. He just looks like an idiot on the trailer and nowhere else in the movie. Like,
don't forget Steven Spielberg when before episode 1 came out, he was like, "Oh, all you guys are in for a treat. 15 minutes of fucking pod racing."
and political disputes. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
E.T. makes a cameo.
Like two or three Senate sessions. You guys are all CG though.
Basically, it's like who said, was it Kevin Smith that says like CNN in space or some bullshit? I remember. Oh my God! Even to this day, I have to like fast forward it. I just can't stand it. Yeah, that's too funny. But
I don't really care what the executives think of the movie.
Yeah, I know. And then the fact that they said Affleck is amazing, absolutely amazing as Batman, to the point where we're going to give him his own trilogy, and we're going to give him those to direct, even write and direct.
See, if Ben Affleck directed this movie, I'd be fucking all over it. I would, because he's really good director.
He hasn't had a miss yet. In fact, his movies keep getting better.
Yeah, I remember watching The Town.
Yes,
that movie is phenomenal. He's good in it too.
And he was able to get a performance out of Blake Lively, which I can't stand.
Oh yeah, instead of just showing her cleavage.
Yeah, was really good in that. And Jeremy Renner, that was his
Yeah. That was his brother in it, right?
I think so. Oh, Casey Affleck? I think so.
Yeah, Casey.
I have to go back and watch that again. I love that movie. And I loved Argo too. I loved Argo.
Yes, yeah, that was a good movie too. I mean, he was okay. He was like just whatever in it, but
you know, I'd be interested in watching a Ben Affleck Batman movie.
I'd be more excited to see a Ben Affleck Batman directed movie too, than a Zack Snyder.
To me, you know, they canceled Man of Steel 2, right? Or something like that, or put it on definite hold.
Like that,
yeah, that really bothered me because I thought, man, you're really shitting on Superman. You really are. I mean,
well, he's basically fucking Blade. like he says like fucking 5 words.
Yeah.
And the other half of the time he's screaming or punching something.
Dude, I will take Blade over Man of Steel any day. I loved the first Blade so much. And there was a lot of parts of part 2 that I really liked, although I don't think it was as strong.
Was Guillermo that directed that second one, right? Or
I think so, or he wrote it. The third one was just fucking terrible.
Oh yeah.
It was bad. But Ryan
Deadpool
Reynolds
was in it though.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Hannibal.
I mean, he's
Hannibal
basically
King.
Deadpool in that too.
Yeah.
He's basically Deadpool in everything he's ever done.
Everything without swords.
Even back to when he did that 2 guys and a girl in a pizza place.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. And Van Wilder, he just didn't have swords. He was,
right. He was Deadpool in that movie too.
Yeah.
He's basically been playing Deadpool
his whole life
before he even got to play Deadpool.
Yeah, that's true.
How about that movie Waiting? That movie's good too.
Yeah, I loved Waiting. I loved it. He's done a lot of shitty movies.
I loved him in Best.
But
Best Friends.
Something like that. Is that with Amy Smart?
Amy Smart and the chick from all the scary movies.
Yeah, the only thing I liked about that movie is when they made him fat all the time. That made me laugh when they did that.
Was funny, but I love the scene with Anna Faris where he's trying to get her attention and he yells at her and he's like, "I'm waiting here, stupid dick." Yells at her.
Yeah, I like that.
At the bar. He calls him a stupid dick to like just really laugh.
I like her too. She's married to Chris Pratt, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Lucky bastard.
But Best Friends is a very underrated romantic comedy.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
But he's good in it. But it's basically Deadpool.
Yeah,
Chris Branner. That's the guy's name.
That's right.
Branner.
That's right. Yeah, Deadpool. I'm definitely right now. I'm so excited for that movie, and that's like the first big movie that comes out here real soon.
February IMAX.
It's great. I mean, each month there's something. All the way to December, there's something I want to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Even like in September and October, I think they have some throwaway movies that I was actually mildly interested in, but. Like I hate to say it, but I like Jack Reacher. I actually like that movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
The sequel comes out in October.
I think that was right around the time he was still trying to build back his career, and there was a lot. Apparently, there was a few movies that he did that were really good that nobody watched. It was
strong. I have to admit something. I'm not really a big Tom Cruise fan, but the guy just knows. When he does a role, he goes 100 million% into the role. Like he just gives everything. So like. It just makes him likable,
Did you see Live, Die, Repeat?
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow?
Well, originally it was called Live, Die, Repeat. But
right. Now that's the tagline.
Halfway through they changed it.
Yeah, they changed it. That's the tagline now.
Yeah.
But, no, I love that movie. They actually mentioned doing a sequel to that, which I don't know what they would do. But
that movie was really good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think, what's her name?
Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt is fantastic.
Yeah, she's good.
Everything she does. You have to watch Sicario.
Yeah, I heard that was good.
Oh, and Benicio del Toro is fucking amazing in that.
He's not going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 so far.
No, but he's going to be in Episode 8.
Oh, that's right.
As a villain. So.
Well, that's the rumor that he's going to play a villain.
Yeah, so fuck Guardians. I'd rather him be in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Although I love the Collector. I love the Collector. Especially when he looks at Groot and he's just like, "What the fuck are you?" He's like, "I'm going to pay you up front for your body." Never seen an actual Groot. That's great. I think that's it, man. I think we've kind of just like done this to death.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're real good. And, we'll just, I think, we'll definitely have to dive into Deadpool when it comes out and all these other movies, maybe once a month. But in the meantime, to keep our listeners interested and us interested, I really wanted to start doing, branching out and doing some other things, talking about bad movies, good movies, whatever, from the past.
We need to dive into TV shows too soon because March is Daredevil coming out.
Oh my God! And did you see the little teaser for that?
Yeah,
that got me jazzed. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Would love to get into that.
All right.
Excellent.
All right, we're done.
All right,
we're done.
Episode number 4. Yeah, this time it is number 4. I swear.
Yeah, actually number 4.
All right, man. I'm BJ.
Vic. Later.
There. Take care.